The American 6th-generation NGAD fighter is the century's fastest, stealthiest, and most agile fighter. Should the seemingly inevitable war between the world's powers eventually break out, it will be everything for the militaries of China and Russia to fear and lose to. In such a conflict, the NGAD fighters will be crucial, and hundreds of them may take to the skies to cause unprecedented damage. This is our concentration in this video today. The 6th-generation fighter that can shock the world, and how the Air Force will control a massive fleet of 200 of them that is deadly and impossible to stop. Lieutenant Colonel Frank Kendall, Secretary of the Air Force, spoke on March 7th at the Warfare Symposium of the 2023 Air and Space Forces Association about the Air Force's plans for the future to keep its air superiority. This was the first time the service gave a real idea of how big and wide its plan for its future fighter plans was. The strategy involves acquiring 200 NGAD fighters, operating 300 F-35 Lightning IIs from the previous generation, and providing support for those fighters with 1,000 autonomous drones. Together with the manned 6th-generation NGAD fighter, the drones, also known as Collaborative Combat Aircraft or CCAs for short, are being developed for each fighter with 2 drones. To put it another way, they would be combat drones of the 6th generation. They would extend the sensors, electronic warfare capabilities, and weapons of manned fighters, preventing the fighters from taking the risk of going to the front lines of battle unless absolutely necessary. The Air Force will spare no expense for this fighter drone configuration that will save lives. The service has a budget of $2.4 billion for the fiscal year 2024 alone, of which $392 million are allocated to the CCA development. Since the Air Force has previously stated that each NGAD fighter will cost hundreds of millions of dollars, and that the NGAD program as a whole may cost more than $100 billion, these figures are likely to continue to rise in the years to come. For context, the F-22 Raptor, America's current most deadly aircraft, costs a staggering $350 million, the most of any aircraft in history. The NGAD fighter is supposed to take the place of the F-22 Raptor when it enters service, but that move might be controversial. More on that later in this video. Why is it important to note that the Air Force's current F-22 Raptor fleet is roughly equivalent in size to the total number of 200 NGAD combat jets? This hints at a replacement for the entire F-22 fleet. According to reports, the F-22 is participating in the NGAD program as some kind of test bed for the NGAD fighter. Since only the current indomitable, unrivaled, and unmatched fighter can give birth to a new fighter who is even more indomitable, unrivaled, and unmatched, this is to be expected. This program as a whole is packed with jaw-dropping capabilities that have never been seen before, including GAD capabilities. Next Generation Air Dominance is spelled GAD. It is the 6th generation program of the United States, tasked with developing the family of future systems that will guarantee air superiority for U.S. forces in the most difficult operational environments. After the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, had completed its Air Dominance Initiative study in March 2014, the concept that would result in the NGAD was initiated in 2014. The AS-2030 flight plan brought the United States Air Force into this endeavor in 2016. As a family of systems, NGAD is developing several key technologies in areas such as propulsion, stealth, advanced weapons, digital design, and thermal management of the aircraft signature, whereas the service initially focused on a single future-generation fighter jet. New sensors, unmanned aerial vehicles, and weapons will be built with these technologies. The NGAD fighter, a manned 6th-generation GAD fighter, will also be built with these technologies. The NGAD fighter is largely responsible for defining the entire NGAD family of systems. Other GAD systems' capabilities could be improved or harmed by its capabilities. Therefore, it is essential to examine the fighter's capabilities, particularly in crucial areas such as stealth architecture, sensors, and weapons, in order to comprehend NGAD's true potential and capabilities. Stealth is a fighter advancement that has only existed for a single generation, but will continue to exist. As per the Aviation-Based Armed Forces Biennial Procurement Report covering the financial years 2019 and 2020, the NGAD Warrior boosts its secrecy highlights by taking an in-general 3-sided shape, inside holding its payload, and having no particular tail area, otherwise called vertical stabilizers. The first fighter in history to feature such a groundbreaking design was unveiled. Prior to the B-2 Spirit's introduction of active flow control, aircraft had always required vertical stabilizers to maintain altitude. Dynamic stream control utilizes PC mines on board to continually change the stream around the airplane to keep it airborne, like how birds fly. On an aircraft, this results in top-level stealth at a price that is, well, not so good for your wallet. In some ways, this explains why Congress has budgeted over $10 billion for the NGAD in less than a decade, and why the B-2 costs $2 billion. The NGAD fighter features open architecture, laser weapons that can destroy targets on the ground, in the air, on the seas, and even in space. A mix of high-performance guns, missiles, AETP engines that can fly at subsonic, transonic, and supersonic speeds. They cost more than $6 billion to develop. Loyal wingmen, cutting-edge electronic warfare, countermeasures, avionics, and communications. However, in spite of these advancements, decades of history have taught the United States that an aircraft will always have room for improvement, regardless of how advanced it is already, particularly in light of the fact that adversaries who are close to each other are becoming closer and closer by the day. Consequently, the NGAD fighter will have an open architecture that makes it simple and quick to adopt new upgrades. The fighter will always be able to adapt to new battlefield challenges brought on by the advancements of opposing militaries. Simply put, years after its initial construction, the 6th-generation NGAD fighter can be upgraded to the 7th-generation GAD fighter. The NGAD fighter's advanced sensors and weapons will allow it to see targets, friends, and other points of interest from tens of miles away, so its immediate surroundings will be miles wide. The fighter can operate as a target acquisition, surveillance, and reconnaissance aircraft simultaneously thanks to this capability. The sensors that make this conceivable accompany greatest availability and, accordingly, the capacity to impart its information to each and every individual from the Armada, regardless of whether 6th era, keeping each individual from the U.S. Armada side by side of significant data progressively. The United States would replace aircraft-mounted radars with electronically controlled smartskins integrated into the fuselage of the aircraft. Sensor sensitivity and network adaptability are both enhanced as a result. Additionally, it facilitates fleet-wide communication and ultimately enables remote control. Consequently, the NGAD fighter can be manned or not depending on the mission's requirements. Continuing on from frameworks to weapons, the NGAD Warrior is equipped with tons of weaponry, with the vastest exhibit of the most exceptional American firearms, bombs, rockets, and laser-coordinated energy weapons. Every one of these abilities, not only the United States Air Force is virtually invincible. A share of the 6th-generation fighter market is also desired by the Navy. The Navy's F-18 Super Hornet and the Air Force's F-22 Raptor will be replaced by the new 6th-generation fighters, as previously stated. Even though the Air Force has made it abundantly clear, there are arguments against this move, making it contentious for some. Like the more advanced, less expensive, and more recent F-35, the F-22 should not be replaced. Rather, it should continue to operate alongside the existing fighter. Even though this argument may be understandable, there are valid reasons why the F-22's immediate future is not in the sky. At some point, all eras come to an end. The F-22 Raptor will always be remembered as the fighter that changed the world, the first stealth fighter, the first 5th-generation fighter jet, the unbeatable king of air superiority, etc. The F-22 Raptor is a highly effective special weapon for the United States Air Force. It is so unique that federal law prohibits its sale to any nation in the world, not even to its allies. The F-22 Raptor was absolutely necessary for the United States. But times have changed and the battlefield has changed, and the United States now has to compete with 5th-generation fighters from other countries, such as the Su-57 Felon from Russia and the J-20 from China. Even though these foreign fighters are said to be better than the F-22, it's easier to take out 5th-generation fighters with a new 6th-generation NGAD fighter that does the F-22's air superiority job better than any fighter ever could. The engaged fighter is intended to be awe-inspiring and to serve as a deterrent to non-allies from considering attacking the United States. It will have unimaginable power and be the aircraft version of a nuclear weapon. At long last, the airplane would like you to buy into this feed and give this video a like. Along these lines, do that now, and gratitude for watching.